They're not on yet. I'll wait till we get on and then you can say hi. Oh, yeah. My purple streaks were a fail. That's what they turned into. Probably user error. Hi! Hello, people in the world of the net. Oh, there it is. I need my tea because I need some energy. I also got to take my vitamins. I've been using the Spelly Hair, Skin, and Nails. This is actually a fairly complete. There's a couple of other things that this doesn't have that I might add in. But let me know what you guys recommend for multivitamins. This one needs to be replaced at some point. Just a Walmart brand. You can get for like $6. And it's 120 and it's 3, so that would be, what's that? A month and a half or something? I don't know. Something along those lines that'll last. So it lasts a while if you take it every day. I get kind of bad about it. In the wintertime, I'm usually better at taking my vitamins because I'm more aware of how much I need vitamin D and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so I tried to do something with my hair. It was partially successful and it was partially a flop. So I've been talking to you guys about wanting to do like some color. And so I got the Splat hair dye. That was in like a pretty purple color. I showed you guys that. I'm going to have to post this fail so you guys can see what I did. And I may have done something wrong. So what I did is I took all of the stuff and I mixed it in a little plastic. It was actually something that razors were in. Just a little plastic bowl sort of thing. And I put half of it in there because I was hoping that I could do half. And then depending on what happened, I could do half later. Yeah, no, whatever. Anyway, so people are so stupid. People are so stupid. Does that actually get you anywhere to comment things like that? Does it do anything for you? Does it help your life? Does it get you any positive reactions from actually anybody that's worth your time? I mean, how pathetic is your life that you have to comment things about strangers' bodies? I don't understand. I don't understand that. Does that help you in life? Is it make you feel good about yourself? I don't know. I don't. Oh, great. Good. Foot love. Oh, now we got two weirdos. Okay. So, yes, I just called you a weirdo. If that offends you, I'm sorry. Bye. Yeah, we don't talk about that stuff on here. It's not the reason that I'm doing this. And if you want to hang out, you can do that. But if you start getting inappropriate and commenting on people that they do not wish to have commented, particularly me, but anyone else as well, then see you later. Yeah, I'm not a very passive aggressive sort of person. Why is there a line going through there? I guess that's where okay, never mind. That's on my side. So, anyway, so talking about hair. So I was going to put some purple streaks in, and I tried, and it pulled some of the color out, so it's lighter, but that's it. So I maybe did one of two things. I eyeballed it and tried to get at half and half. I mean, so basically, so I used half the product so I could reuse half the product. That apparently did not happen. It didn't work out because it barely did anything. There's a little, you can see a tiny bit of like pinkish color, but it's not purple really at all. The other thing is I didn't like foil it or anything like that because I was just doing it on my own. I took off, I separated the top part and pulled this to the side and then tried to just do chunks through here. It didn't really do anything. It lightened up some pieces and stuff. So maybe if I go in, I'll be able to do it separately. I don't know. Anyway, I tried. I failed. So now we know. I might use the other half of it and see if I can make it work with the other half. And I might use like a highlighting cap. But what I did do is I did the wolf cut. And you can't really tell a lot because I didn't do a super mullet or anything like that. I already have the bangs that I cut a few months ago. My hair is really thin here, so the bangs aren't very thick because just my bangs will never be thick. But that's what I've got for bangs. And then I just pulled it all up here as straight as I could. And then, okay, you're gone. Bye. See you later. I told you don't comment about that stuff, so it's not. We're gonna block you. Bye. And later. Okay. It's so gross. People that think that they have the right in any way, that they have the right to make. I mean, like, really? No. Come on. Nobody wants to hear that. And anybody who does want to hear that is not worth your time and is not worth my time. And I don't want to hear it. Go tell your wife that she has beautiful big tits. And then we can, maybe you won't be so lonely that you have to make those comments to strangers online. What is wrong? What is wrong with men? Seriously. I don't get it. What's wrong? They're so stupid. Not mine. My husband's perfect. Right, babe? You perfect? Yeah, he's perfect. Okay, so anyway, I did the wolf cut. So I've got these layers, and the funny thing is, I used to do this. This is how I actually used to cut my hair. I would just pull it straight up like this, and then go across the top. But I didn't put it in the ponytail, so I put it in a high ponytail. I like it. I think it puts a lot of volume here. It also lets the wave kind of come, and depending on when it is, like if there's more humidity, it'll be more curly. That way. So I actually kind of like that. It still doesn't want to, my part still wants to be at the side because it's been at the side for so many years. And so it's still used to that. So it gets this little extra lump here. That's okay. So that's what we did with my hair, in case you wondered. The glasses are from, I was thinking these were from Pain Glasses, but I actually think these might be Wear Light because I don't say, usually Pain Glasses say PG on them. And then the eye look, you're going to see that this is the first day using this particular palette. I like to keep you guys in suspense when I can, so we're going to keep you in suspense about what's on my eyes. But I'm really enjoying it, and yeah, you'll see that in a couple of days because this is the first day, and then I'll have 2 more days working with that as I go through my palettes and use in 3 days. That's what we do. This is the one I used last, and I have some new thoughts on this. This one, I believe last year I saw this on clearance. I think that's when I got this. It's dirty on the inside. I apologize for that. And if you hear background noise, hubby's making lunch. He's just nuking some stuff. He had a little bit of nap, and now he's getting up and making something to eat, heating up something. So don't worry about that. Love, could you let Rainbow in? She's cold. She's all. We put her out on the deck if we give her like little treats so that she doesn't get them on the floor. Otherwise, she wants to eat them on the carpet. So we put her out there, and as she's out there, she's like, "It's cold out here," because it's a little chilly today in Minnesota. So I'm trying to clean up this palette. Anyway, so I have this e.l.f. palette. This is the Earth and Ocean. I want to say Water and Sky. It's not. That would be all blues. But Earth and Ocean palette. It's a really cute 18-pan palette. I really like the way it's curated. The darkest tone in here is more of a navy color than a real black. Well, it's not really navy. I lied. It might just be black. It does feel like it's more, I don't know. Is that black? Yeah, that looks pretty black to me. It might even be a brown-based black. So I lied about that. But there are, like, Abyss is this nice, pretty navy kind of grayish sort of color. And then this Underwater, this is so pretty. This beautiful color here is like a deep, rich teal color. I used that in a couple of looks this last week. Oh, it's so beautiful there. That is such a nice, nice color. And then Sahara is another one of my favorites in here. That's this green, definitely chartreuse. I'm not sure what that was, but something got dropped. So that really pretty chartreuse color. So this has really beautiful colors in it. Oh, and Siren also. Let's see if I got a clean finger for that. Is this nice periwinkle color here. So they're really, really nice, but they're not my colors. I am a pink with a warm sort of tone. So I do really well with reds and pinks and even oranges, anything that's like red based, purples, that sort of thing. So this is definitely the opposite of what my coloring is, but that can be very stunning depending on how we use it. So I had a lot of fun making more looks with this. I've done this twice in my rotation. Now, keeping in mind, before I was doing rotations, I just had it as one of my few palettes. Now I've got a whole bunch, so it gets rotated through. Now, a thought about the e.l.f. formula. I think it's quite good, but the issue or potential issue with the e.l.f. formula is that it is, well, there's two things. One, I feel like they muddy together. And it could also be, I don't think I actually used a tacky base, the glitter primer, which is my AOA Studio. Is it here? Or did I put it up? I should have put it up. The AOA Studio tacky base. Where is it? Okay, it might be sitting here behind my tea somewhere. I don't know where I put it. It was sitting right here. I know I used it this morning. Didn't fall on the floor, did it? Comes in a pink tube like this, only skinnier. It's supposed to be in here. Apparently is not. It's not in the other one. Anyway, it's around here somewhere. But that's what I usually use for any shimmers. I didn't actually use that for the e.l.f. It's because I was just so crazy busy this week, and so I just couldn't make myself do it. I just was kind of throwing stuff on and going out the door. And oh, here it is. It's on the floor. I knew I used it this morning, so I don't know what here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's a $1 tacky base. It works quite well, and I've had no problems with that. So that is, I didn't use that for these, and that might have held them in place a little bit better, but they really do muddy up a little bit. And particularly with me, because I have hooded eyes. So when I do a different look, I have to make it really distinct. So I've got one color here, a color here, whatever I'm going to do. I can't do one color at the bottom and a different color at the top unless I do like something at the, like basically above where my lashes hit the top there. It would be a crease, but it's not a crease because I don't have such a thing. I just have, when I close my eyes, you see all that lid space. And then when I open my eyes like this, it's all hidden. So there's like nothing in between. So I have to put one color above here if I want to do that. And then I can put color above that and then just do one thing on the lid. But my lid has to be divided horizontally. Does that make sense? Because then when I blink up, when I open my eyes and look down, it'll start after an hour or two, it'll start blending together. And some do that less or more or whatnot. Hello, gorgeous. How are you, Jasmine? So sweet beauty. And so I like to use this because it does hold things in place, but I still have to keep that in mind and make sure that the colors go in. So like today I have 4 colors of shimmers, and they start from the inside. There's one color, another color, and then the final color on the outside, just so that they'll blend together that way. But these muddy up anyhow. Even if I do that, it seems like it's just kind of, after an hour or two, it just becomes one look. So could have been my application. It also just could be, I mean, it's not that old. It's only about a year, but I did get it on clearance, so maybe it was an older palette when I got it. That's a possibility. Yeah, I don't know. I really like the colors. I think they're very pretty, but they're muddy anyhow. They're grungy sort of colors, right? So that's what you're going to get here, is a lot of these deeper, darker kind of muted colors and stuff. So I like it a lot, but it's just, I think maybe I'm not doing it justice, or maybe I've just tried enough other formulas that now I'm getting spoiled. That's a possibility. But it was nice, and I like the looks. It's a beautiful palette. It's just, I don't know if they wear as well as some others. So that's why I like kind of going back and forth. And as I get something new, then I go back and try something older that I've had for a while, like that one, and then saying, oh, how does it work? So speaking of the newer, now this one is not a newer palette. This is an old, but for me it's newer. And this is the Viseart Entendu, Violette Entendu. How's my French, love? Good French? Does it sound like French?
What do you mean?
Violet, violet, like, like, like mauve, huh? Violet, violet. You don't say there's two T's, two a TTE at the end. Violet, right? No, not okay. I don't know. I don't know if we're trying to say the same thing. Violet attendu, attendu. Is that it? Attendu. Okay, there we go. I have my French coach here. All right, so this is one that gets a lot of praise for being a really nice purple palette. This row kind of irritates me a little bit just because why do I need that many shadows, especially that are that close? I'm going to swatch these real quick so you can see um, how close they are. They're not super. I'm not even, okay, I'll blend them in. I'll be nice and blend them in. They're just a slightly chunky. That's what they look like. There's really very little difference between these ones here. So I'm not sure why that is necessary. I mean, I know that Viseart gets really acclaimed for its quality, particularly in the mattes. And I've heard people say really great things about the shimmers as well. I have a few. I have two of the Petit Pois, and I have one of the bigger palettes. And they're nice, but I don't know that they're maybe deserving of as much praise as they get. I'm going to go ahead and swatch the other two rows here. So there's the second row. So it's pretty light. This is the first color on the left, my left. And then this one here. So they're not super shiny, but that's okay. And then this one is a pretty bright fuchsia, but it's just light. And then this one is the more of a rose, like a cool tone rose matte. All right, and then the bottom row is where the purples really kind of come in. So how do I want to do this where you see it? I guess I'll just go down a little bit. So when I turn my arm, it hopefully doesn't go off the screen. Oh. So that's what those look like. So there's the bottom row. This is where the purples really come in, right? It's nice. It's pretty. I think the shimmers are really nice. And I think I'll enjoy using it and making some nice looks. I just, purple is my thing. It's my jam. I love the color and I love the eyeshadows. So I kind of just have this obsession with getting all the palettes that are purple. It's nice. It's cute. I like the compact size. This is a 12 pan. And in comparison, I'll just show you the size here. So this is the other one that came in. So they had, I decided to get these together because I wanted the free shipping and this was already on my wish list. I'm trying to really stick with things that are on my wish list and then adding things, newer things, but not really trying to add a lot of older things. And then if it's not on the wish list and it comes up, or if it's not, because there are some things where I consciously thought, ooh, I really want that, but then I didn't put it on the wish list. So then that would be probably allowed. But here's the difference in hand size between the Beauty Bay and the Viseart. So you can see it's about twice the size on the Beauty Bay. And I like the little compact size of this. I think that's nice. This is nice for travel. I've taken one of the Petit Pois on a trip. And I like that for the size. So here's the, you've seen this all over the internet, the Age of Opulence. I'm not going to swatch this all over the place because, excuse me, it's not necessary. Because there's, just an overabundance of swatches. I'll just do this bottom row. I might be lying. I might do more just because these are too pretty to not stick my fingers in. I just put that one over the top of the other one. That was not the smartest move. But these really... they're really nice. These shimmers are really beautiful. So I am eager to get into this vintage, this color vintage. I think is such a cool color. Here, let me wipe this off and I'll try to get into that. So vintage is like this bronzy sort of, I'll dry off my hand. I keep my wipe here to, so that's what that looks like. Look at that. Oh, it actually kind of matches my shirt, but it's like, yeah, like a greeny toned um, metal. Oh, man, that's so pretty. And I'm not sure exactly how that will fit with this palette, but I'm sure going to have fun finding out because I really want to use that. There's enough neutrals here that you can make it work, but there's not a lot of neutral mattes. There's basically the silk stockings and RSVP. Those two are not. That's redundant. I don't know why there's two of these. This could be lighter and be like a really pigmented cream color for like a brow bone highlight or inner corner highlight, and then this kind of as a blending shade if you need that. Then this is the only darker matte neutral. Everything else for a matte is, well, and then of course the black. But everything else is blue or teal or purple, so whatever. But yeah, you've been hearing this all over the web, and then the Wilderness. Ugh, that one's on its way. It's coming to me Monday, I think. So I'm really happy to have this. I think this is going to be really beautiful, and I love, of course, the purples. But I do like, even though I like purples a lot, this one is a little bit, when they're this monochromatic, it's like, oh, another purple look. I do like having the challenge of something like this. When you do purple and then you add a little bit of blue to it, it just glows. It has this beautiful, almost, that's where the, what's the ultraviolet sort of thing comes in, that really beautiful purple blue glow. I don't know. I just said the same thing twice, but you know what I mean. And if you don't, try it. Put purple and blue together, and then you'll be like, oh, that's what she's talking about. Because it's really pretty. All right, guys. Whew. Sundays are when I wander, and I'll have to see, like, I'm going to double check and see, like, what the viewership is for my Sunday lives. This is kind of annoying. I have like this bra strap showing right here. That's kind of, okay. Like, what in the world? It shows more on YouTube. I did just post. Okay, guys, I have been so bad. So I hit 6K on IG. This is a wonderful thing. Thank you guys so much. Oh man, I've been so tired. So just trying to make it work. But so I have a giveaway, and I was like, maybe I'll just do some of the stuff. And then I decided, no, I'm going to send everything that I have. If you want it, if there's something in here, you see it and you're like, yeah, I don't want that, I'll not send it to you if you win. Don't tell me that before you win. Tell me that after you win, because I don't need to get messages from everybody saying, I don't want this and I don't want that. I don't, no, just when you when you win, when I notify you that you win, then you can tell me what it is that you do and do not want. Anyway, so I have them all sitting here, and they're right on top of the flat rate box, and it's only going to be the US. I'm sorry, I have to do that because last time I went to Canada and it cost me over $50 to send a package to Canada. And I was like, and not that I don't love my Canadian people or my European people or my anybody else people, but I can't do it, guys. That's just so expensive. So it has to be continental US. I'm going to hopefully change that up so that there will be some giveaways internationally as well, but this is not that. Yeah. Anyway, the information is in a post on my IG, and you can visit that and get all the details, and hopefully that will make it clear. Sorry, I've been really bad about it, like trying to get you guys informed and whatnot. Anyway, Boxy. I feel like I have to give a disclaimer. So, you guys, if you've been around, you've heard my dilemma with Boxy. It looks like there's a bug in here. Is that a bug? Is there a bug in my tea? Or is that just part of my tea? I can't tell. I'm going to drink anything else. Lord knows I have drank enough bugs in my life. It's nothing new. Okay, so, extra protein, extra something. I don't know. So, vitamins. So you know that I've had a dilemma. If you've been on here, you know that I've had dilemma after dilemma after dilemma with Boxy, a little bit with Ipsy, but not as much. Boxy has been really a pain, but I have kept them because they give you such great options for their, it's not a pop-up anymore. It's whatever they're, like, I don't know. What do they call their sale? Anyway, their sale that they have every month, right? And then they have another one that's once a quarter, I think. That's coming up next month in November. My birth month, yay. Anyway, so when I get a box and I see, I see what's going to be the options for the month. Like for example, this next month, the only thing on there's like a cleanser or so. No, wait. There's like a stick foundation, and I'm like, I don't want that. And then there's something else, skincare something, and then there's brushes. I'm like, literally, the only thing I want is brushes. Stick foundations, I want to like them. I have this one from Juvia's Place, and I really want to like it. But when I tried it, it was in the hotter months, and let's see if I can find it. Here it is. And it's just so oily. Um, it looks super, super light on my hand too, but I feel like I can work that in. Let me actually try to sponge a little bit. The sponge is so incredibly dirty. It's sad. See, it blends out really nicely. I think it'll work actually for my face. I just see now I feel like as it's getting a little bit cooler that it might work better. So I'm going to actually put that in rotation at some point so I can try it and see how it is, because I hear such good things about those color sticks. I have just not really used them, and so because when I did put it on, it just was so greasy, or felt so greasy on my skin. So I'm like, I don't want to try another one until I find out if this one actually was going to work for me, because it's kind of scared me. I am an oily girl, even though I'm aging, and so I'm getting less oily and more flaky. The joys of aging. It's all good. My skin is pretty good because of the oils that I use, my own oils that I've told you guys about umpteen times, basically every video I make. So yeah. Anyway, I was just like this last one. I'm like, I know, because I said I'm gonna choose the face palette, the Beauty Bakery face palette from Boxy. And then I'm like, please give me a bunch of makeup. Of course they didn't. So what they do, and you will see this, because you can go on and you can see, I think the account is Boxy Sneak Peeks or something like that. I think it's Boxy Sneak Peeks. So you go on IG and you look up Boxy Sneak Peeks, and it'll show you the variations. And for each thing you choose, there's only 2 to 5 variations. That's it. So it doesn't matter if you like something or don't like something. You're going to get one of those 2 to 5 variations. So I looked at all the variations. There was only one that I'm like, okay, that could actually be okay. The rest of them were all pathetic. I got one of the pathetic ones. So this thing arrived, and I heard thunk outside the apartment door, and I was like, oh great. He literally just threw it on the floor, and I'm like, because I know they don't package these too well. But I'll show you what I got in my Boxy, and you can tell me. I haven't opened anything. I just opened the box and looked at it. So that's why I'm not super surprised, because I already know what's in here. This is the one that I chose, and so I'll open it up and swatch it with you. I've not swatched anything, but you can have an idea of what you think. Tell me what you got in Boxy, what you chose, and what your variations were. The packaging is cute. So this is Beauty Bakery Milk and Honey. Miss Charlie's here. Hello. Oh, and hello, Pretty Glamma's here, and All Kind of Beauty is here, and Makeup Craze 2021 is here. And sorry if I'm not greeting everybody. I'm sorry, so sorry, guys. You got this palette last month? Yeah, this one has been out for a couple of months. I didn't get it last month, so it was the only thing. It was the only thing that I was even remotely interested in. No, what I really wanted was the Ace Beauté. This is what I was going to say. I get very scattered. That's my brain. That's the way it works. So the Ace Beauté, the new palette, isn't that pretty? It's got like the purples and the blue and the reds and the like all those fall colors, right? And so I'm not waiting for you to answer and say yes, it's beautiful, because we know it's beautiful. Anyway, and I'm also really interested in the formula, because I understand that they've changed their formula, and I've got 3 of their palettes, but I think they might all be the older formula. And so I will be interested to kind of make a comparison and see how it compares. We'll see. Anyway, I really wanted that, but I was like, I just have this suspicion it's not going to come in this box, because I'm seeing all the other variations, and I'm like, they all suck. And the chances of it, yeah. Did you get it in your, Miss Charlie, did you get that in your Boxy, regular Boxy box, or did you order it? Because I actually bought one. It was like, what, $9 or something like that, maybe $12. I don't know. So it's on the way. And that was one that I went ahead and got, even though it wasn't on my well, I mean, it did actually go on my wish list um, when I saw it because I thought it was so pretty. It's a little bit neutral, but I think it's just such a usable, versatile fall palette. It's just so pretty in the pictures. I don't know about in real life. So we'll see. But then I also threw in the Natasha Denona. So I got the little 5 pan that came. I think it's Jubilee. I got the one that's the neutrals. They are some ugly neutrals. They're ugly. They're they're muddy and I mean they probably look beautiful on you if you have a olive undertone. I do not. So um Patrick Star one size palette in your premium. I got rid of premium because they were too pathetic. Like 2 months in a row, they were just too much money for too little value for me. If you like skincare, you're gonna do fine with Boxy. But for me, it's like if it's skincare, it's basically just a wash. It's not any benefit for me at all. So yeah. Okay, let's look at Beauty Bakery. Let's see if this is any good. Does this work on you, Miss Charlie? Because when I looked at the pictures, oh yeah. Oh, wow. That's quite a range. Yeah, that's what I was saying. When I looked at pictures, it looked like for a highlighter. This is a highlighter palette. This is weird. Does this annoy anybody else? I know it annoys some people because I've heard people talk about it. Who needs all 4 of these as a highlighter? Now, I understand if you're going to use it on your eyes, if it's eye safe. I haven't looked that far. I mean, I'll use it on my eyes anyhow. But I don't know. For external use, do not ingest. That's all it says there. It doesn't say anything about not using on the eyes. Okay, I'm going to swatch this. The colors look very pretty, but even the light one looks like it has a lot of depth to it. You need them all? Okay, well, good to know. The thing is, this bronze, see, I feel like this bronze would look really good on you, but on me, I'm not going to be able to use it as a highlight. But I can use it as like a blush topper, or even like, if I want to have like glittery bronzer or whatever, I can do that. More than likely, this would either be a blush topper or it would be something I'd use on my eyes. And even this, because they're just on the darker side. These other two, the pink and the basically shell color, those would probably both work for me. But maybe if I use them really lightly, they are very pretty. Those are really pretty. Okay. My favorite, well, I should say my only palette, really that has shimmers in. Is it down here? Where did I put it? This one. This is I've shown you guys the Salmon from Odin's Eye. It's so beautiful. So let me see how this compares with the Be Sweet, which is this one. Well, actually, I don't think it's going to compare at all. Yeah, this is much more pink. There's the Odin's Eye. And the Odin's Eye, I think, is more reflective. It's just a different color, but they're really nice. Well, yeah, I think it's pretty. It's just that they're not all going to work for highlighters. But as long as you're inventive and you use them for other things, then I think you're okay. Yeah. So that's not a fail. Okay, BoxyCharm box is cool. I love to see what other people get because I want to see how mad I should prepare to get when I get mine. That's kind of how it's gotten. But then, like I've said, I can't even be mad anymore because I'm the dummy that continues with them. And quite honestly, the deals that you get are pretty good. So the other thing that I got, the other 2 things, I got a eye pencil from Benefit, I think, maybe, that I just wanted to try. And then I also threw in it was like $3. So I was like, whatever. The other thing I got was one of the bronzers from LYS Beauty. Liss Beauty. Rambo, don't come in here and bump me with your nose every minute just because mommy's not giving you attentions. Yes, you're cute. Okay, you're cute. Yeah. high maintenance puppy. She's not really. She's pretty relaxed, but she's getting like cabin fever already because she just doesn't get out as much as she can. She should, so hopefully we'll take her to the dog park today. Yeah, you just be good and the mommy daddy will take you to the dog park. Tell daddy I said so. That's going to be a conversation. Oh, you're going to bump me in the belly? Okay, do that. So anyway, she's adorable, but you know, whatever. Kids. So I got the LYS bronzer. Really excited about trying that because I have been wanting to try that brand from the beginning, but I'm more interested in trying the blushes. Those blushes just look so pretty. And now they've got highlighters. I'm not a huge highlighter person, but those just look so pretty. So what else do you like from LYS? Anybody have other things from LYS that you enjoy? Because that brand, you know what I think it is? I think that's the packaging is so unique. It just looks so lush and luxe, and I don't know. I feel like I'm a big deal when I use that brand. Like it's better than others. You might hear my husband laughing in the background. He's apparently watching YouTube videos. Anyway, okay, so the first one was not too bad. I'll show you the thing that I'm least excited about. Why do they send these? I will use them because I mean, this is the dollar store. This is from this is what the retail was, something ridiculous, some ridiculous price. The amount of space that it takes and the shipping and whatnot just to send these out. I can go to the dollar store and get that much in dollar store value for whatever. It's annoying. It's annoying. Stop doing that, Boxy. But it's easy. They're cheap. They're easy. And, you know, this whole thing probably cost 50 cents to make. So, whatever. First LYS product. Got it in your premium this month. And got the wipes, too. What do you think of the wipes? Do they smell good at least? It says it's witch hazel. Pore refining. You know, that doesn't actually happen, right? You don't refine your pores after they're there. I mean, you can, like, keep them from being inflamed, but they smell pretty good. Nice and fresh. That's at least. I mean, you know, I use them use them for removing swatches. That's basically it. A lip mask. Do I really need another lip mask? I've got this one from Shop Missy. I don't know if this is an AOA. Oh, yeah, it is an AOA Studio. It says on the back. This is the one that smells very much like roses, but it actually works really nicely if you can get over the smell. I'm curious about the fruit scented ones because they have several that are fruit scented. I just had to be the weirdo that got the rose scented one. And it does smell nice. It doesn't smell super cheap, but just is very strong. So this one I'm just opening up now. Oh. Is it clear or is that there's like you can't see anything in there, or is it just that? Oh, wait, hold on. Where's the perforation, guys? I might have to use the teeth. Maybe. I have a knife. Ooh, I have a knife. My husband's like, that's where all the kitchen knives go. Well, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Well, that's okay because he steals my stuff, like my hair cutting scissors. He'll use those. So I had to get new ones to do my wolf cut. But I think it doesn't really look any different, except that you see that there's more layers here and more movement. So I think it's better this way. I mean, it was all one length before, and it just looks. I don't know. Old. I don't mean old like age. Old like what's the word? I don't know. How does it look when your hair's just all one length and it just kind of all hangs out? Some people it looks great, but not me. Yeah, baby wipes from the dollar store. Exactly. Did you get this lip mask in your Boxy? I should have put this in my giveaway, but this kind of smells like rose too. I haven't touched it. I could put this in the giveaway, even though it's not sealed. I mean, I won't put it in this one, but I could put it in a giveaway. But I think there's already a lip mask in there, maybe. Oh, there is. I think. Yeah, there's a. Why does that? And I will tell you, the reason that they're doing things like lip masks. I said lip masks. Lip masks and wipes. English is weird. Is because they're cheap. These are really, really cheap to manufacture. There you go. I just blew your whole fantasy that they're actually high end. No, they're not. Yours smells weird. Oh, did you see my video where I have the one that the lip stuff that smells like hangover? It was nasty. Malin and Goods. I don't know how to say this. All I know is they have a perfume called Rum something. It smells so good. So good. I smelled it years ago and I have not forgotten that name. But now I'm seeing they've got more and more face, like skincare. And of course, they do because skincare is very cheap to manufacture and sells for ridiculous amounts of money because we idiots, not me anymore because I don't do it, but human being idiots, we will do anything to try to look young. And so they sell us this illusion that we're going to stay young. I'm going to open this because I want to. Resurfacing face serum. The reason I'm going to open it is because it's this Malin and Goods. I don't know how to say that. Somebody tell me what I'm saying wrong. But I like the way I say goods because I feel it feels like that smells like mint, which is kind of nice. I also went to a restaurant one time, used their bathroom, and they had this brand hand soap that smelled. I just kept wanting to wash my hands over and over and over because it smelled so good. Oh, that is the one you got. Okay. I've not used any of their other stuff. I have to take my glasses off because I can't see anything because I need a new prescription. Serum reconstructant pour le visage. Our exfoliating and brightening serum synthesizes alpha hydroxy acids and stabilized vitamin C to help improve skin tone and texture. Okay, so I can probably go through the ingredients, but it doesn't have the ingredients here. It might on the box, and if not, I can look it up online because I think most companies that are sold in the U.S. here it is will have the ingredients. So this has witch hazel. That's really easy to get and very inexpensive. And actually, you can get the root and actually make it yourself. Just boil water and mix it up yourself. Orange peel oil, peppermint oil. That's what I'm smelling. Spearmint oil, citric acid. But those are so far. Those are down here on the list. And so sodium hydroxide, lactic acid, which is one of the easiest ways to get lactic acid is from milk. And you can also, a really good DIY skin hack, can you call it that, is to get dried powdered milk, particularly goat's milk, and use that actually as a rinse or as a wash. It works really well. Of course, I don't believe in stripping your skin of oils. And some people will say, my skin doesn't feel clean. Well, it's because you think clean means stripped of oils, and that's not true. You've just been reprogrammed. You've been programmed to think a certain thing, and that's not the way it is. So, all right, I'll put it in my routine and see if I, look fantastic. I don't know. It smells good, and it's just a face serum. It's not, but it'll make me look really, really cool to have this sitting up there, looking all foo-foo and whatnot. Dough to rise. What are you making? What are we baking today? Are we making bread or are you making cinnamon rolls? I don't know. Those are the only things I can think of. Like what dough do you need to rise? Bread or cinnamon rolls? Here's the last thing. Why did I open? Oh, because I am going to keep this. Okay. Laura Geller Spackle. If that doesn't make me feel like it's a construction project, I don't know what does. Skin Perfecting Primer. Hydrate, moisturizes, and replenishes. All right. I am into trying primers, although I do recall we were talking about last time. We don't actually believe primers work for the pore refining and stuff like that. I've never found a primer that actually works for that. I think that what primers do is just kind of set a base for everything, and then what you put over the top will refine the pores. Do you want some makeup too? She's still down here looking at me like, Mommy, are we ready to go yet? I don't see any blurring at all. Very, very, very light chemical, not unpleasant. Scent, bread for dinner, sweet and condensed milk bread. Ooh, that smells. I can smell your bread from here. That sounds good. Yeah, cool. My mom makes bread. My sister does too. My nieces do too. I don't have patience. I don't. I don't have the patience or the attention span and you know what the other thing is? I will tell you my issue with like cooking and baking because my husband is like, what in the world? Why don't you cook for me? Sometimes I will. But here's the thing. If I'm going to take my time to cook or bake for somebody, it is not something I love to do, but I will do it for you because I love you. But if you are not appreciative of it, you don't get it again. And so that's what he's learned. Um, I would make something for him, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't really like that." I'm like, "Okay." And then I make something else for him. Yeah, I don't like that either. Okay. Well, after about the third time in a row of that, I was like, "Well, guess who's going to be doing the cooking now? You either eat what I make, period, or you make your own food. I'm not going to try to make the food the way that you want me to make the food. No, because I don't necessarily like the food the way you." I didn't think we were going to make it through the first year because that was our biggest thing. That was our biggest area of contention was, why don't you cook food for me? I cook food. You don't eat it. Not my problem. Barbecue chicken, mashed potatoes, corn, baked beans. See, now he won't do the baked beans. He doesn't like beans. He also won't do anything that's sweet. So if there's any brown sugar or anything in that, he won't do. Barbecue chicken, if there's barbecue sauce, he won't do it because the barbecue sauce that we have is sweet, but he does like barbecue. And he's also apparently he's off chicken. I think it's just because he ate it like every day when we were in the Dominican Republic. Although we kind of did it in Haiti too, so whatever. Except we ate more goat in Haiti, so goat and a little bit of fish. Mashed potatoes. He doesn't really like mashed potatoes. He likes plantains. That's his deal. And corn. He'll eat corn. That's basically the only thing. So even though that sounds delicious to me, he'd be like, no, nah, I don't really want it. I mean, he'll take a couple bites and then he'll be like, okay, I'm done. And then he'll go make himself some food. See, it's not worth it. It's not worth it because that sounds delicious to me. I think that would be a fantastic meal. But he's like, nah, I'm good. Well, then don't complain when I don't cook for you, dude. So yes, that has been our dilemma a little bit, is working through that thing. Love is a precarious thing. I'm not sure if I should. I probably should give this a. Does anybody want this lip mask? Maybe I'll keep it. Yeah, actually, I might just keep this for Christmas. Who knows? But he will not eat sweet plantains. That's the other thing. I love sweet plantains. You know, I like because he loves them green, where they're super starchy. They're like basically like potatoes, but way thicker. And my stomach can't handle that too much. I like them, but my stomach will because there's so much potassium and whatnot in them, and my stomach just doesn't really work well with it because of my PCOS has my whole digestive system all messed up. Anyway, and so he will he'll eat them when they're green, and then when they get ripe, then I will grab them and slice them up. And I love to slice them thin, put them in a pan with a little bit of oil, and then throw some vegetables like onion and pepper and whatever else in there, and then put eggs on it. And I basically do like a breakfast bake with the sweet bananas. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And you let them caramelize a little bit, so they're just a little bit brown on the edge, and they're a little bit crunchy. Ooh, so good. He doesn't like it. I don't know what's wrong with him. Anyway, so that's one of our things that we've just gotten to the point. There's certain things that I know he likes. I'm not necessarily going to make them. There's a couple things he likes when I make eggs, not with bananas, but just plain eggs. There's a couple other things that I can make that he'll be like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Other than that, he feeds himself. Or we go to a restaurant that he likes the food at, and we'll eat it there. And also the other thing with cooking for me is that I feel like I'm almost traumatized by it because I don't care about food. But then I'm like, do I really not care about food, or is it that it has been such an area of contention in my life? Because people, they look at me and say, you should stop eating. Literally, people will look at me and I'm not eating anything, but they look at me because I'm big and they say, oh, you shouldn't eat. you gotta watch what you eat. Literally, I eat less than you do. Than the average person, I eat less than the average person. That is, I do. And I also eat quite well. PCOS does not function like the world thinks that it's supposed to function. My body does not function like that. Just because I eat what you eat and I am as active as you are active, I still am going to be bigger than you. It doesn't work the way that people think, where it's just, calories and exercise and it's a mathematical thing. It doesn't work that way because metabolisms are very different, and then things like PCOS will mess things up with like insulin resistance and that sort of thing. So it's kind of one of those things where I feel like I have to think too hard to make food, because I feel like I'm kind of justifying what I'm making, and then thinking about what I'm eating, and I'm just like, I just don't have that much energy or thought to put into it. So I mean, I can cook. I just, in this particular relationship, I usually don't. So that's our thing. Yeah, you and your son always in the kitchen. Chili lime fried plantains. Chili lime. Is that like a powder? Chili lime powder, or do you actually like cut up the chilies and whatnot? Because I feel like the powder would be really good. Now I'm getting hungry. We don't have any plantains here. I got to go buy some more. Actually, we should go grocery shopping, and I've got to do laundry. So much stuff to do. But so that's my Boxy. I would give my Boxy, I think I gave it 2 hearts out of 5 when I reviewed it. I'm like, it's not the worst. I mean, it really pretty much is bad. There's literally only one thing in there. I mean, the primer might be okay. I've never tried Laura Geller anything before, so the primer might be okay. What's out there? Is there something out there that you need to attend to? What? And I think the palette is going to be okay. Other than that, there's nothing in here I'm interested in. Is it worth $25? Or what is it now? Is it still 25? I think it is. Oh, packaged snack you get it. Yeah, so it's probably the powder. Okay. Ooh, see, now that's my go to TJ Maxx and buy it. That's a good way to cook. I like that way of cooking. That's basically, oh my goodness, we don't have a whole lot to go through today. So that's kind of what I had to talk about. Oh, the other thing. This is actually, okay, Miss Charlie, I'm going to talk to you about this because you've got an opinion of this. I have not used Laura Geller, so it will be interesting to see if I like this one, and maybe I will. I don't know. I've heard some good stuff about them. Okay, so here's a conversation. I am a person who I despise pandering, and because to me, pandering is just another form of bigotry. You can pretend that you're all for somebody, but there's a really fine line. And here's the issue. Like, all these people going around saying, like the popular one now is, stop Asian hate. Now, I'm all for stopping hate of all kinds, Asian and everybody else. And, hate sucks. So let's not do that. But where are these people when we're talking about the discrimination that happens against Asians when they want to get into things like med school? They have to have higher scores, and the quota is way down. So the schools are saying there's too many smart Asians, so we can't accept them. So it's discriminating against Asians, right? It's not their fault they're smart. Okay, maybe it is because they, a lot of times they just study really. It's not even necessarily genetics. Although I do think maybe there's genetics, and I'm totally okay with that. I mean, I couldn't do med school. I mean, maybe I could. I don't want to do med school. I'm not a dumb person. I'm a pretty smart person, but not in that way. I don't memorize facts well. I don't do science. I don't do abstract stuff, whatever. That's just not the way that my brain works. Then my husband, he's a different kind of smart. So you give him a problem, you put something in front of him to fix, he'll fix it. You try to explain the problem, he just glazes over. Abstract thinking, he doesn't get it. But when it comes to fixing something, he's a genius. He's like Superman, right? So you give him a problem, you give him an engine that's not working or something like that, he can fix the problem. So he's a different kind of smart. We all are different kinds of smart. And I'm using smart just as one example. So where are all these people? It's because it's interesting, because all the people are like, stop Asian hate, are the same people that wanted to justify when these leftist universities, and I don't say liberal on purpose because they're not liberal, they're very unliberal, but these leftist universities want to make these quotas and say, well, you know what, we can't have as many Asians in our schools because they're too smart and they're making everybody else look bad. And then it's the same thing like with immigration. People get a little ticked off at the immigration conversation because not and let me rephrase it, not the immigration, but the, like the minority opportunity, whatnot, because immigrants are making Americans look bad. And so people are like, well, it's all about the opportunity you have. And there is some of that, but it's not really, because if you see people who children who grow up in rich families, they often lack any sort of motivation to actually do something with their life. Very often because they're spoiled rotten. That's a stereotype, but it's not inaccurate. And it's not everybody, of course, but it's a lot of people. And vice versa. If you come from a family where you you have to work to survive, then once you have a situation where you have opportunities, you're going to be that much more apt to succeed. Here's an example. My husband has been in this country. Next month, it will be 1 year. All right. He has lived in Haiti his whole life before that, except we were in a Dominican Republic before that. So here's what I have to say. He's been in this country for less than 1 year. He has acquired more wealth, good credit, uh, longevity at his job, reputation as a worker, all of these things than most Americans do. Most Americans his age, 40 something, they don't get that far. They've been here their whole life for 4 decades. He's been here less than 1 year. Now, I have to take a little bit of credit for that because I know how to navigate the system. So there's that. But he just knows how to work and focus and take advantage of what without starting any drama. And he, he should have every disadvantage. He doesn't really speak the language, learning, but he really struggles with English. He's absolutely a minority in every way. Well, other than being male, but he's and being straight. But he has like and so he has everything against him, yet in a year he's been able to, just because he knows how to look at things in a different way. Now, I am not negating family history because I have that. I came from an extremely poor family, but much of our problem was our mentality, and still is. I look at my family, they don't want to do anything with their lives. They're high school dropouts. Why? Because nobody has actually shown them how to succeed. And you see it time and time and time and time again. If the family shows the kids how to work hard and how to get on with life, then it works, right? And I'm just using this as an example. So I hate pandering, because what pandering does is it is this fake sympathy, like, oh, well, you're not as blessed as I am. Oh, and that drives me nuts, right? American missionaries. I have been one most of my life. So I'm speaking from, I'm preaching from the choir. Let's just say it that way, right? Um, I'm trying to read what you're saying while at the same time I'm talking. So working hard is part of Asian culture, right? Exactly, and it's also part of Haitian culture, where my husband's from, and much of the developing world. You have to work, or you're just not going to succeed. Plus, he grew up on a farm and whatnot, so he's used to that. Not same in the US. You're absolutely right. Much of where we're falling short, where Americans are falling short, and Americans of all cultures, Americans. This is even like first generation and second generations from immigrant families. It's the same thing. So mom and dad come here, they know how to work hard. They blow up. I mean, they within a decade at least, they go from being, essentially destitute and having nothing, coming to this country, selling everything or sacrificing everything to come here, to being homeowners, being business owners, being, entrepreneurs that have all this money in the bank and are sending money back home and all this kind of stuff. But then their kids become Americanized and become lazy and entitled like the rest of us. So I don't know. Right, exactly. If they're making you look bad, step up your game. And there's certain things that are genetic. There are certain things that are genetic. I have certain challenges because of my genes. You have certain challenges because of your genes. Everybody has certain things that are genetic. You also, there are, we would be foolish to sit here and say that nobody looks at anybody else as their appearance. I get judged as a woman all the time. And especially, I am in an intellectual field, right? Somebody made the mistake of saying, you get on there and you sell makeup and you've got all these accomplishments. I'm like, I'm not selling anything. I'm doing this for fun. But I'm in an intellectual field. I'm in a field of theology and fairly traditional, right? And so I get judged all the time just because I am a woman. How can a woman be a theologian? How can a woman teach anything about the Bible? How can a woman, you know, some of the most backwards people are in the church. Also, some of the most forward people are in the church. So it's kind of like extremes, right? So it's, yeah, you kind of have to deal in the middle. But so I hate pandering because the idea of pandering is it's like when Americans say, we are so blessed in this country. We just want to bless others. Shut up. Let me go, let me reach through here and slap you. Because that is one of the most arrogant things you can say. You are not blessed because you're an American. You are not. Development does not make you blessed. Having stuff does not make you blessed. It's, if anything, it's a curse because it gets in your way. It's having things easy does not make life easier for you. Having things easy doesn't make you succeed. That's the thing, is actually having things hard is what makes you succeed. And that's one of the reasons that Americans have, pretty much all groups in America have all come from a place of struggle. Some of us have put other groups in you know, in the place of struggle, and some of us have been in the place of struggle because of other groups, and some of them just, you know, we make ourselves struggle, or just, you know, whatever, the lot of life. Most of us traditionally, I'm not saying right now because Americans have it pretty easy, for the most part, but in our history, all Americans really came from a place of struggle. All of our heritage comes from a place of struggle. Some struggle is way more than others, but you know, that's something that's different about this country. Um, and that's why we all kind of share this idea of moving, like working to move forward. And when we lose that, or when we think somehow that our lot in life is we are blessed, no, you're not. You just happen to, you're lucky. I mean, okay, you are blessed. I believe in, you know, God blesses you, but not because you're American, because that implies if you're not American, you're not blessed. And that's what irritates me. Because the idea is then, well, we're blessed because we're Americans. But Haitians, and you know, and then you get people that are idiots and actually say that they're cursed because they're Haitians and whatnot, and they don't know anything about the history, and then have to set them straight and verbally slap them because they need that. And that's where one of the issues is. Anyway, so we were having this conversation, and I had my husband sit down, and you may have seen my story that I put on. And I've thought about this, and I've hesitated, and I've talked to him about it, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" Like, he's like, "Why are you doing this?" Even today, he was like, "So you do one of these videos every week?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have people that want to see me." And he's like, "Okay, you know, whatever." He's cool with it. He just thinks it's weird. So I grabbed one of my palettes. I think it was this actually. It was this one. So I grabbed this Age of Opulence palette, and I said, "Here, I need your arm." And I put him down. And he's, you know, he's a very, very different skin tone than me. He's like chocolate, and I am vanilla cream. we're extremes, right? And so I put our arms next to each other, and I swatched a few of these on both of our arms. And I said, I wonder if this would actually help somebody to see the same swatches in the same lighting with the same editing, or no editing, but you know, the same quality side by side, so they can actually see how this would show up on different kinds of skin. Because I know the thing is, I see a lot of people, like the minority, people of color, black, whatever, however you want to label it, the community in the beauty industry world. I see the people that are representing often are not very dark, and that's because in this country there's a lot of mixed, right? So everybody is mixed in this country, not really, but you know, a lot of people are mixed in this country. And so there's you know, that's the most of the black population of this country, not all, of course, there's a lot of very dark skin as well, but most of the black population of this country are mixed somehow, or a little bit lighter tone, just because, you know, if you've been here for a long time, if you're descended from the actual slave trade in this slavery time in this country. Now those that are newer immigrants, they tend to be a little bit darker, again, not always, and depending on where they come from. My husband is quite dark, And so I'm like, I know there's people who want to look at maybe buying this, but they're like, is that even going to show up on my skin? So I'm like, well, maybe. So I swatched it on there, and then I'm like, because this is my issue. This is what I don't like. Yeah, mutts. We're all mutts. Oh, somebody got mad at me because I called myself a mutt. They're like, you're calling yourself a dog, and I'm like, no. Literally, that word has been changed to mean I'm a mixture of different things. Like I'm different kinds of heritage, but they wanted to fight with me about it. I'm like, okay, whatever. You're not gonna win. I'm a linguist. Like that's like one of my side disciplines. Anyway, I put the swatches on her arm. I took a picture. Now because of the angle, his basically didn't show up, and so I have to, because the camera wants to focus on the brightest parts, and so that's one of the problems that you have with that. So I put it up on my stories, and I said, "Who thinks this would be helpful?" And I love you all. I love you all. If you follow me, if you are with me, I love you. I do. I might disagree with you, but I love you still. Um, this was what irritated me, is that the people, everybody said yes except one person. The one person who said no appears to be Hispanic based on the name and based on what they look like. I mean, you never know, because I have some of my good friends they have Hispanic name, but they're actually more Native American. So that's what they kind of identify as. Anyway, so you never know. But so they appear to be Hispanic, um, and by name and by face. Everybody else said yes, including one who appears to be a mix of African and probably Caucasian or whatever else, fairly light skinned. And so everybody else appears to be white. And I said to myself, okay, now I've got to be understanding, because the majority of people who are going to follow me are going to have some similarities to the way I look. I have people who follow me that are older, because I try to represent older people, even though, whatever, I have one style of older. My older style is younger, right? I don't act or dress or wear makeup like an older person is supposed to, right? I put all the shimmers and everything on my face, so whatnot. But I do have that. I have people that follow me because of PCOS. I have some people that follow me for political. I'll like a political post and then they'll follow me. So that's a something different. And then I have a lot of people who follow me because either my style is similar to theirs. If people like neutral uh, looks, they're probably not going to follow me. That if they like colorful looks, they might follow me. And then I'm going to have people primarily who are a similar skin color to me and follow me. And so that's the majority of people that are on my that are following on my IG. So that you have to give them that. The majority of people who see my story are going to be white or lighter skin or whatever you want to call it. Again, we're all mutts, so whatever. Anyway, but the issue was like, okay, if all of these people, it was like a dozen people or so that said yes, this would be helpful, none of them actually represent the dynamic that I would be doing it for. Okay, Sean, you can give me your opinion too, right? Because you might have a thought on this. You haven't been around for a while. You used to come hang out with us all the time. You haven't been around for a while. So I put this, and of course, I don't think, Sean, I don't think you wear makeup, but I might be wrong. But you could tell me anyhow. So I put this on my skin and on my husband's skin. My husband's darker than you, Sean. So, and I want to know if it would actually help people to say, oh, yes, this shows up well on dark skin, or some colors do, or some don't, or whatever. And it would actually help people who have that sort of skin make the comparison. The other thing is to see that, like, how it shows up differently, because when you get something that is like this pizza kitty, where these multichromes and duochromes, those will show up differently on light skin and dark skin. Like right now I've got multichromes on, duochromes, whatnot, and they don't radiate as well on my skin as they do on a little bit darker skin, because, or quite a bit darker skin actually, because that just gives this really nice, I don't know, somehow they pop better. It seems to me that they pop better. Maybe it's the photography. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. But I don't know these very well. So I'm just getting to know them. But that's why I'm saying, maybe it would help people to understand, hey, if it's on this skin, it's going to look different. If it's on that skin, it's going to look different. Now, My other issue is I don't want to be the white girl who's like, I'm going to show you, all the black girls how they should actually, what makeup should they should buy and how they should put it on. Because, I just want to help them because, I've been blessed with good skin or good hair, whatever, all that kind of stuff, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Let's not pretend we haven't heard these conversations, or we know we've heard these conversations. So I don't want to be that person's like, I'm going to educate you all on how to do this. You understand? I don't want to do that. But on the other hand, if I can help because of this, then I will. Now, my husband's not going to put it on his face, right? He's like, no, you draw the line. You can put it on my arm. That's it, right? So it might or might not help on the arm. I also don't want to take away from actual dark skinned women or men, whatever, who decide to wear makeup and have their own accounts. I don't want to be the person who pulls away from that. You know what I mean? Because they have the unique opportunity to actually show it in action that I can't do. But they also maybe don't have the opportunity to show their skin against light skin. Does that make sense? So I think there's benefits both ways. Okay, so you did show the looks on different skin tones. Yeah, so that's one of those things. But then I'm like, that's why I said I hate pandering. And I hate that I even have to think about pandering because I didn't used to have to think about this that hard. I was just like, oh, okay, well, maybe this would help. I'll put it out there if anybody wants to see it, fine. But now I feel like you have to like second and third guess everything and be like, wait a minute, am I being aware and woke or am I just being racist? I mean, I know I'm not because racist is a totally different thing and you don't accidentally be racist. You might be accidentally bigoted or ignorant or arrogant or one of those things, like not knowing. But if you're racist, you actually know that you do not like XYZ people because they are XYZ people. Okay. That's not an accident. You don't stumble into, oops, I just realized I'm racist. That doesn't work that way, guys. I know some people think it does, but it doesn't. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm from is, I want to be able to give people information that is helpful to them. But I also don't want to take anything away from people that are already there, already doing the work. And so, yeah. So I was like, well, maybe it'll be helpful to do some of these swatches. I'm especially thinking with some of the newer palettes and especially some of the ones that might appeal to, all kinds of people. And actually I was thinking one of the things that would help is like Juvia's Place. Because, and this is the opposite. This is the other way, right? A lot of white people complain about Juvia's Place because they're too pigmented. I don't believe there's such a thing, but I'm weird. And that's why certain people will follow me that they won't follow other people. So doing the same thing and showing like Juvia's Place on very pale pasty white skin and on dark chocolate skin and showing the contrast could definitely help. So I really appreciate you guys giving this input. I'm reading your comments. Yeah, but I also know that it's one of those areas that can be sacred and also can be it can rub some people the wrong way. I don't want to do that, but I also just want to put the information out there, and I don't want to tiptoe around people just because I'm a white girl or whatever I am. So Juvia's Place is for everyone. I absolutely agree with you. However, I am shocked at how many white people I've heard say, I don't like their formula. It's just too much. I'm like literally one of my favorite palettes. Where is it? Here it is. One of my favorite palettes ever in the whole world. Hallelujah. This is the most beautiful thing. Like, oh, you can't go wrong with this palette. I saw people that are like, I got this palette and I have to give it away because it's just too much and it intimidates me. And I'm like, how can that intimidate you? Like, just cheer it out. How is, like, when are you wearing that? This intimidates you. But honestly, it's this. This is what they're wearing. I mean, you saw okay, I'm going to show you the difference in the swatches. This is one of the reasons that I say I think it's helpful to show that in different types of skins. Skin. Oh yeah, I know. I mean, people are gonna make an issue no matter what. People, I mean, oh, I already know that. I'm a pretty. I don't want to tick anybody off, but if they want to be ticked off, they're gonna be ticked off anyhow. So, let me swatch a couple of these just so you can kind of see. I don't have very many purples, but I'll just show you what I've got. So this is the Viseart. Well, actually, no, these are really coming up pretty strong. Yeah, but that's a pretty intense swatch on those ones. So yeah, but still, I mean, those are intense. Nobody says that this is too much. Why do they say this is too much? I don't get it. But I've actually literally this palette, this Juvia's Place palette. I've heard people say, or I've seen people say on IG, well, I've got to get rid of this palette because it's just too much for me. I'm like, really? Like, I mean, and it's not even if you look at the mats. I mean, I'm not saying it's not too much for them, but I can't imagine this here is like light. Okay, whatever. But that's why I think that it could be helpful, like taking things like this and showing it on extreme different skins. It also probably would be helpful if we had somebody somewhere in the middle. Um, you know, I have to get one of my medium toned friends to hang out and put the third color in the middle. But yeah, you can never make everyone happy. Someone will get butt hurt. I am a said what I said person, no filter. You know what? Here's the dissent. Here's where you and I. Okay, Miss Charlie, we're gonna have a heart to heart. All right. I have. This is what I was explaining to someone. I don't remember who it was. I have literally lived between the cultures or in the cracks of the cultures most of my life, basically all my adult life. So I have through my entire adult life, at least, I have never lived in white culture. I haven't. I've either lived in a mix or I have lived in a place where I'm the minority. That's just where I am. So, um, but what I have learned is that there's certain things that certain people can say that other people can't say. And it's based on a couple of things. If you are white, there's certain things you can't say. And so you can say what you said, and I can't necessarily say what I said. And that's just somehow that's just how the world is. Like you can get out here and you could get out here and say exactly the same thing that I'm saying, and everybody would be like, "Yeah, that's right, Miss Charlie, you're so right." But then I say it, and they're like, "I think that's just inappropriate, and I think you should leave this to the people who have the experiences and whatnot." Oh, or people. I've also had the conversation with people where they're like, basically, I can't talk about racist people. This was the crazy thing. I can't talk about racist people because I am not a person who has had racism, has experienced racism. That's not true, by the way. That's not true. I have experienced extremely violent racism that's put me in the hospital, but that's beside the point. Um, we can talk about that at a different time. But just because I'm white, apparently my experiences don't count. But at the same time, I can't speak about a minority experience because I haven't had that experience. I'm like, then how can you talk about racists? If I can't talk about a minority experience, why can you talk about a racist experience? Unless you are a racist, a white supremacist. Oh, it was literally white supremacists. I'm like, how can you talk about where white supremacists are coming from if I can't talk about where minorities are coming? But and it's the same thing. Like I already talked about women. There's certain things women can't say, especially in the intellectual world, and especially in the Christian theological intellectual world. Ooh, but I don't have a filter. I don't have a filter, and my mom desperately tried to install a filter on me, and it didn't work. I can't do it. I just can't do it. There's too much that needs to be said, and filtering it out does more harm than good. And I don't have people that I'm super close to because I say what I'm going to say, and it ticks most people off, especially white people. It does. And I will tell you specifically, this is the reason I have chosen to live in the cracks of the cultures, so to speak, between the cultures, is because I can't make white people happy because I just say what I'm going to say, and it makes them mad. Where most cultures in this world can handle it way better and actually disagree and still be friends. And I don't know why white people can't. I don't do the passive aggressive. I don't do the Minnesota nice thing. I didn't inherit it. And people here don't understand because they're like, well, you got to be nice to people. I'm like, why? Why do you have to be nice to people? Just because if they say something wrong or something stupid, I still have to be nice to them? Doesn't make sense. Like, I'm not going to try to hurt them and try to intentionally do damage, but I'm not going to like walk on eggshells just in case they might get offended at what it. No, that's their fault, not mine. Whatever. This has nothing to do with makeup, by the way. This is just my opinions. I saved the good stuff for the end. I've not experienced racism, but maybe because I ignore people most of the time, my feelings don't get hurt that easily. You can say what you want. I know the truth, so I move on. And that's the thing. And without undermining real experiences of racism, because I know they exist. I have met a few racisms, racists. Very, very, very few. And here's the thing that bothers me a lot. This really worries me. And this has been a trend for a few years. And it really started when we started to reinstall this idea of separating people into groups. And I hate it. And that's why even I try to use like kind of a spectrum when I talk about like, you know, super pale skin and Caucasian skin and caramel skin and medium. For me, medium skin is like the whole, like, basically the average in India. Right, whatever the average median skin tone would be in India, that would be medium to me. But unfortunately, a lot of times that goes to Caucasian skin too. But so I try to put things on a spectrum instead of just being like, well, this category versus this category. This is a black person and this is a white person. Well, wait, it's not that easy. Like you said, Miss Charlie, it's not that easy. You're mixed, I'm mixed, people are mixed. You are not the same. You are closer to my skin tone than you are to my husband's skin tone. So that's the thing that people don't really get, is that you can't just stick people in these categories and then be okay with it. But what's happened, unfortunately, is there's become this trend, because there's become, and that's why I'm so careful about extremes. There has become so much anti-white male rhetoric, and it really worries me because I've got a very, very, very mixed family, and some of those are white males. And hearing like my nephews, I mean, they're like actually scared to exist. I have a nephew that was shot in the head twice, basically for being a white male walking in the wrong neighborhood. Do you know what they said? And I was there when the police came and talked to him. The police said, well, you should be careful who you hang out with. We went to the doctor. The doctor refused to even look at his head. He diagnosed him Tylenol. Now, they didn't know that there were 2 bullets in his skull, but apparently he has an extremely hard head. It was also a 22, so it wasn't something that's going to, I mean, you have to get it at the right angle to go through his skull. But he apparently has a very hard skull. A month later, he felt something moving, and he had his sister actually cut his head open, and a bullet fell out. And his dad's like, we're going to the hospital. So they went to the hospital, and then he has another one stuck and lodged in his skull. He was in the wrong neighborhood. And this is why when people talk about racism and act as if white people can't experience racism, it really, really bothers me, because I have been put in the hospital. I've had some terrifying experiences because I dated outside of my race. And it wasn't white people. Let's just say that. It wasn't white people. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. But I mean, racism exists across the board, and people can be racist of all colors. But then they say, well, you can't be racist unless you're, a disadvantaged person. Well, I'm a disadvantaged person because I'm the minority in the groups that I'm in. I mean, there's literally nothing I have to go to. I go to the police, and what do the police say? We don't go against we don't prosecute these cases unless there's really heavy evidence, because it becomes very squishy, or some of the words they'll say, it's very squishy. There's a lot of paperwork and a lot of variables, and so unless we know, the guy said that he assaulted me, and I'm covered in blood, and he has not a scratch on him, and there's witnesses. What do you want to say? Oh, well, unless we have really, really good evidence, we're not going to do anything about it. Okay, well, you know. Anyway, so my nephew got shot in the head twice for being in the wrong neighborhood and being the wrong color. He was white. They mugged him, and he has still a 22 in his head. And if you need evidence, I probably can get the X-rays from my brother because it's still in there. And it's been 15 years, maybe. And he, my very very good friend from many many years ago was with him, who happened to be black, and so he can vouch for it too. I mean, he wasn't with him when it happened. He my nephew was staying with him. So anyway, these things happen, and people are like, "Well, you can't talk about that because you're this or that or whatever else." Guys, we got to get past this. Like, this is never going to get better as long as we tell people that because they are XYZ color, gender, identity, nationality, whatever happens to be, that they can't talk about something. That's just ridiculous. If we can't just talk freely, nothing's going to get better. Yeah, you know what? And that's exactly what you said. So my husband has never experienced racism in this country. He very much experienced racism in a minority country. And this is the funny thing about people who talk about racism. And again, I'm not saying it does not exist in this country, but I'm saying it is. And let's acknowledge the past, that we have had some pretty nasty racism in this country. But we also have to understand that that's because we had two extremely different groups that were smashed into one place. And that has not really happened anywhere else in the world, except Israel is a good example of that. And that's not ethnic groups, those are religious groups. But when you have two different groups smashed together, you end up having this animosity. America has actually shown how to overcome that, unlike any other place that I'm aware of. Again, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying for all the people that criticize, we've done pretty stinking well. I'm not saying that, historically slavery sucked, but Americans didn't invent that. Just I mean, that's the reality. And it still continues in most of the world, including Haiti. Anyway, so we went to the Dominican Republic. My husband had never experienced racism in his life. Dominicans hate Haitians. I was going to say are racist against Haitians, and I mixed it all up. It's he and I. We were denied. I mean, we were denied housing because he's Haitian. I got the housing, and then when they saw him, they said, "No, you can't live here." Um, you know, the they'll get picked up. He fortunately had some people like brief him, and also he actually he got to know the pastor, a very well respected Dominican pastor that has established himself there, and went to the police department and to the prison with this pastor, so that everybody on the police force knew him. And did outreach with the pastor and whatnot. So that was a really good advantage for him, because they knew who he was, and it was a fairly small community. Rainbow, you're okay. And so that helped. But if we had gone out of that community, he wouldn't have been safe. In fact, the first time we went to, I tried to explain racism and racial profiling and whatnot from the Dominican side, because it's like whatever you think it is in the United States, it's 100 times worse in Dominican Republic against Haitians. And that's the thing. People, I'm in these groups about people that want to live in Dominican Republic, or people who do live, and there's always Americans that are like Black Americans that are like, how bad is the racism down there? I'm like, you're American, you're not going to experience it. It's not anti-Black, it's anti-Haitian specifically. Because if you are a Black Dominican, if they think you're Haitian, they'll be racist against you. But if you can establish that you speak Spanish and whatnot, then they don't have an issue. But for example, if you go and you pray for somebody on the street, they would not let my husband touch them, because they thought his evil spirits, because he's Haitian, he must have them, would go into them. I mean, just crazy stuff, right? And this was even in that area. So there was lots of weird things that he couldn't do certain things just because he was Haitian. And then, he would go with me a lot of places because it was just safer to be around me. But the first time he went to Santo Domingo, the police stopped him. And I was literally on one side, and he walked on the other side of the cars, and the police saw him, pulled him over, because he looks Haitian, because he is. And started questioning him. And I know enough Spanish to basically cuss out the police officer and call him a racist and tell him, why didn't you pull me over? Why didn't you ask me for my identification? I'm clearly not Dominican. Why did you try to get him? Because he's black, because he's Haitian, and of course they were really harassing him until I came at him, and then they're like, well, I guess we gotta let this one go because he's got a fighter like on his side. So, and my husband's a really like laid back sort of person, so he won't fight for himself a lot of times. So I guess that's why we're teamed up well. But yeah, here he's never experienced it. And of course he's only been here a year, less than a year. But his brother-in-law, I stayed with them for a while, and that's his sister's husband. And we talked about it, and he said, I've been here, 15 years or something like that. He's like, I've never experienced racism. Never. Sometimes people are ignorant, they say dumb stuff, but so do Haitians. And that's the thing, is Haitians say dumb things because they don't understand. Everybody says dumb things about another culture because we don't understand. It's just being dumb. Meaning, you don't have that experience, and exposure will change it. But instead, we want to turn around and say, "Oh, it's hate." And we want to put it on the same level as hate. Racism is a really, really, really serious thing. So don't be messing around about it and acting like everybody's racist just because they see things in a different perspective. Anyway, that's how we got there. So no, it's something I'm really super passionate about because I've seen it, I've experienced it, and that's why. I mean, you want to see me get heated? Tell me I haven't seen racism, because I saw my nephew come back to the house all bloodied and saw the police ignore, because he was a young white guy in a primarily black neighborhood. Um, and most of the white guys in that neighborhood are up to no good. He was looking for a job, and he got off the bus and, got mugged and shot. And, we've been through that whole thing. And I've been refused by police. I've been refused any help with pressing charges against my assailant. And that, it was not once. That was 3 times, 3 different occasions. One time I was pulled off the toilet by my hair because the girl found out I was going on a date with a guy who was the wrong color. Held a piece of glass to my throat and said she was going to cut my effing throat because I was a stupid white bee, and everything else, and I need to stick to my own kind. Racism sucks, but it is not one side necessarily that's doing it. And we have to be able to have these conversations. If we can't, and if I am automatically silenced because of my skin color or my gender or because of anything else, and if you are automatically silenced because, and that drives me nuts too, where other people want to speak for you, and it's like mansplaining, right? I don't need a man to stand up for me. Like that's, I mean, okay, that's fine if you want to do it and you sincerely think that it's. But if I'm already standing up for myself, you don't need to be like, oh no, I'll take care of this. I am a man. I'll take care. It's the same thing with anything else. And so, work with me, and we'll be fine. But I think it's respect, and that's the same thing with me. So if I'm doing something that offends somebody, tell me it offends you, and then we'll have a conversation. And maybe I'll stop it, and maybe I'll explain myself and continue to do it because it is a free country. But I'm not going to try to do anything to offend somebody. Everything I'm trying to do is to help and to make life easier. So, wow, that got a lot deeper than we planned on. We were talking about makeup, and now we're talking about solving the world's problems. Yay. Miss Charlie, I hope that your bread turns out amazing, and I'm hungry. So you can send some of it over my way. Although I'm not really eating bread because of my PCOS, it triggers all sorts of things and makes me, apparently, is what causes a lot of inflammation for me. I'm finding that gluten is my enemy. So I'm racist against gluten, apparently. Or gluten is racist against me. I don't know. All right, guys. That's all. Wow. How do I lighten this up? Let's talk about something fun at the end. I don't have anything fun to talk about. I talked about all the fun things already. So, too bad. I will see you guys. Oh, wait, never mind. I do my giveaway. So I posted on my giveaway. Make sure that you follow me and are also subscribed on my YouTube, and take a look at all the stuff that I got. I got a big bunch of stuff again. A lot of it is things that came in. Some things I look at and I'm like, oh, I could use this, but it'd be more fun to give it away in my giveaway. I've got so much stuff, so I'm not necessarily can keep things that I that I don't need. But I've got a Juvia's Place palette in there. Speaking of Juvia's Place, I've got a Profusion little mini palette. I've got a bunch of other little things, some nail polish, cleansers. I've got a flat iron. I don't use any heat on my skin, on my hair. Uh, I've got a couple of the things that I like, this AOA Studio brush cleaner. I've got a new one of those that I've in there. Also, this really nasty looking sponge that really needs to be cleaned from AOA Studio. I love this thing. I use it basically every day. You can use it wet or dry. And this is really gross. I need to wash that. Anyway, I got that in there. I've got a bunch of stuff and then some stuff that hopefully you'll like that. I don't necessarily want, but you can use it. So enter the giveaway and you have to answer 5 questions about me. I've probably answered most of those questions in this conversation right now. So if you watched a video, you probably can answer most of the questions. Send me a DM with the ones that you know, and then as you figure out the other ones, you can, and if you can guess too. If you guess and you're close, you might be in the running. So I just want to get a bunch of people um, to enter the giveaway so we have a good choice. But unfortunately, it's only the continental US because last time I sent it off to Kelly, and I love Kelly. She's amazing. She's wonderful. She won my giveaway last time. It was $50-something to send to Canada. $50-something. Why? Anyway. All right, so I'll see you guys in the next one. It's going to be Wednesday at 8 or it could be 9 depending on how late I get home. So see you then. Bye.